Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the weekly integration sync for Subspace. We have been pretty busy working on our incentivized testnet and trying to get that launched. So the integrations are a little bit on hold right now, but we're still going to do our regular update. Ved, if you would like to start off and let us know how things are looking with .sama integrations, or if there's any change.
Hey everyone. Per last week, as Jaya mentioned, haven't had a chance to spend a lot of time on adding more stuff to the feeds. Whatever we have done so far with the feed integration into .sama, that is pretty much has been it. I think Sergey will have more because we did have few issues on the decoding side last week that we've discussed. I think maybe those are more updates rather than anything from my end at this point.
Okay, Serge?
Um, Actually, not too much updates on my side as well, because the decoding issue, I think we discussed it last time. So yeah, there was a decoding problem with blocks that were processed from archives, but that was because the old archives had like not valid blocks saved as binaries. So blocks were valid, but when we converted them to binary, there was a encoding issue. So those blocks cannot be decoded. So I tried it with creating archive from scratch with the current encoding, and it works okay. So we just need to create new archives, as we discussed previously. And apart from that, on my side, no new features. I just created a few issues. Let me just share with you some links. So one is related to UI, as we discussed before. So we have too many chains, and if we update resort chains on Relayer UI for every block, it jumps, and it's really hard to keep track of every individual chain unless it's Polkadot or Kusama, because they're like fixed on top. And another issue is we have this column which shows when the chain was last updated, and the timer starts when we actually load the page, but this is not the real value when the feed was updated. So this is also something we can address in the future. And another issue I created, it was more like a suggestion on how can we optimize configuration management, because currently we have like separate config for Kusama, separate config for Polkadot, and potentially if we have more instances of Relayer, we might need another config file. And we also have a separate config for Relayer UI. So yeah, I wanted to start a discussion with Nazar on how can we optimize that, and I had a few ideas. So yeah, I will. We decided that I will create a PR, and we will move from there. But yeah, I haven't started yet. That's all on my side.
Okay, that all makes sense, Serge, and thanks for putting those issues together to describe that. I think right now the priority is really the desktop app and making sure that we've got that up to date. So once we get that stabilized again, we can come back to this and start working on some of these things. Okay, Skylar, anything from your side?
Yeah, so as far as parachain auctions and the relayer goes, we have two new parachains that won this past week. Bifrost, one on Polkadot, and then Bajun Network, one on Kusama. That's the Ajuna Canary Network Arjuna is the one that got mentioned next to us in Polkadot 2021 roundup, like Evan Wood. But so they won. But as far as the relayer goes, it doesn't look like we have any access to additional feeds since last week. So we have 44 parachains in total on the relayer. And I believe the backlog is growing. There are 9 parachains that we are still waiting on to get their feed to upload to the relayer. So yeah, I'm not sure if we have any. I mean, that's the up.
Do you guys?
Looks like you're back.
Okay.
Was that
Okay,
out?
so I'm just yeah.
A
good 20 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, basically we just have the 2 new parachains. That one, the backlog is up to 8 or 9, which is in the business development section. And I don't think we have any more updates from On Finality on whether we have those feeds yet. So we're still at 44 parachains that are on the relay right now. And those are the only updates.
Okay. And if I recall, most of those we're actually waiting to get integrated into On Finality.
Yeah. Yes. As far as my knowledge is.
I can comment a little bit on this. So I checked recently that Legendary and Unique, they have public endpoints, but they don't have block production at the moment. And Dora has public endpoint and has block production, so it's kind of ready, but I want to onboard them after we figure out this configuration, config management issue.
Okay, so that's actually blocking adding any new parachains right now.
It will simplify onboarding of new parachains.
Okay.
Hope.
How much, like, how many days of effort do you expect it will be to redo that configuration management?
I think day or 2.
Okay.
Depends on feedback from Nadar.
And how long does it take you to onboard a parachain right now, assuming that they're already connected to On Finality?
So currently we have 2 UI applications, one for test A, which is public facing and which is on this relayer, testnet relayer subspace network, the default URL, and which is an older version of the UI application. And we have the most recent one, which is RelayNet. So previously, when we had only one version, it was easier to update because you only like update 2 configurations, and it's like basically 2 pull requests. But now it's a bit complicated because you need to create 2 separate builds, and you need two more pull requests. So that's why I want to like completely decouple configuration from because currently in UI, like all those list of chains that are displayed, they are part of the code base. So I want to extract it and put config for UI separate, same as we have for relayer. So in order to update one of the applications, you just need to update the config file. You don't have to touch the code. Hope it makes sense.
Okay, and I thought that we had, like, was it testnet relayer A or testnet A relayer is the sort of the legacy one that has the old archives, and then RelayNet is the one where we're trying to do feeds validation, but it's not actually working.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, I think we're going to have to just hold everything on RelayNet until there's like a lot of additional work that needs to be done on that in the meantime. But we could support like legacy testnet relayer and keep it with the same amount of work that it has been in the past, rather than having to do like 4 pull requests or manage 2 separate builds.
In that case, yeah, I can do it right away.
Okay.
I mean, onboard new chains that are available to the old relayer UI.
Okay. Yeah, not a priority. I mean, it'll take priority after the desktop app, but I think probably just getting at least caught up with the backlog before we start revising the configuration management, because I just expect that'll take longer than a few days to actually get it working and deployed and everything and get the design approved.
Okay.
Okay, Nizar, any feedback, any comments?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. All right, anything else we need to cover? Okay, well, thanks everybody for watching. Hopefully we'll have more updates next week.